Tax season is moving full speed ahead. Many taxpayers have already filed, many are in the process, and many have not yet begun. The deadline for filing is only a few weeks away, but there are options available by filing for a tax extension. Maybe you're one of those procrastinators, or maybe you're still waiting on paperwork you need. The good news is it's not too late to file for tax extensions to give you more time to file properly and accurately. You need to file for tax extensions at both the state and federal levels. Here's how to file for extensions in 2022. If, for whatever reason, you can't file federal taxes by the deadline, you can complete Form 4868 to file for a federal tax extension. By using Form 4868, you'll have an extra 6 months to file your federal tax return. You can file for tax extensions for any reason, and completing the form won't take much time. Form 4868 contains 2 parts. On the first part of the form, you'll provide your name, address, social security number, spouse's social security number if applicable. On the second part of the form, you'll provide an estimate of what your final tax amount due will be, and then apply the total tax payments you've made for the year. If you expect to owe taxes, this is important. You need to pay the balance with Form 4868. You can request a federal tax extension either by mail or online. The first option for filing for a tax extension request is to file online. The IRS allows individual taxpayers to use Free File, allowing you to e-file your tax extension form. If you choose to file a tax extension request online, you'll have until October 15th to file a return. You must file your extension request no later than your tax return's regular due date, and you should estimate and pay any owed taxes by your regular deadline, which will help you avoid penalties. You can also file a tax extension request by mail. You have 3 options regarding how to request the Form 4868 by mail. You can call the IRS to order a form. You can request a paper form to be mailed by completing an order form on the IRS website, or local libraries and post offices may have copies of Form 4868. The same requirements for filing a tax extension request online also apply to filing a tax extension request by mail. While you're able to file for a tax filing extension, it's critical to note that you won't receive a payment deadline extension. Even if you submit Form 4868 requesting an extension, you should still send a payment of the estimated balance owed. By paying more, you'll have less interest and penalties, and you may receive a refund when you file your tax return. If you file for tax extensions online, you can send payments electronically on either the IRS or state website. If you file for an extension by mail, you can mail payments with your completed Form 4868. On top of federal, you may also qualify for state tax extensions. This will also give you a 6-month extension, and it's available for all taxpayers. Depending on your state, you may need to complete a form before your state tax return's due date. Like federal tax returns, requesting a state tax extension won't extend the payment due date. Different states have requirements to file state tax extensions, which could affect how you pay state taxes. Some states recognize federal extensions to grant state tax extensions automatically. You may need to attach Form 4868 to your state tax extension request form. Some states will allow a state extension if you have no tax due and if you file for a federal extension. Some states will recognize federal extensions as valid state extensions if a majority of tax liability is paid by April 15th. Taxpayers may have payment requirements for their tax liabilities to avoid penalties, and taxpayers not granted an automatic federal extension will have to file a state form in certain states. You can file extension requests and pay for any taxes owed by mail and online in many states. If you live in a state without state income tax, you won't need to file a state tax return. You also won't need to file a state tax return extension request. Following your federal tax extension request submission, the next step is the approval process, which is normally automatic, but make sure you complete Form 4868 correctly. You may receive a rejection for your tax extension request by not ensuring that your information is correct. The method you'll receive your approval will depend on how you submitted Form 4868. For taxpayers filing their tax extension request online, you'll receive an email within 24 hours with a confirmation. For taxpayers filing their tax extension request by mail, you won't receive an email. Instead, you'll need to reach out and contact the IRS to confirm your extension request was received and approved. If you need an extension, you should file for one on or before the April 18th deadline to avoid a late filing penalty from the IRS. You won't face a penalty for filing a tax extension, but your taxes are still due before that federal and state deadline. If you don't pay those taxes on time, you'll have late payment penalties. You may also have to pay penalties for underpayment too. As tax season continues, you still have time to file for a federal extension or a state tax extension. Remember, filing for a tax extension will give you several months to file taxes, but not more time to pay taxes. When you need help with filing for a tax extension, tax experts are ready to assist you. Contact the experts at 1-800-ACCOUNTANT to receive the help you need before the deadline arrives.